Right, so welcome everybody to episode 1 of the Social Oddities Podcast. I'm joined by the rest of the Social Oddities. There's Kevin,
Hi.
there's Chris,
Hi guys.
there's Rachel,
Hello.
and there's Adam.
Hello.
We're representing the entire length of the UK. So there's me here in Bristol, Rach in London, Kev up in Newcastle way, I think, Kev?
Sunderland.
Sunderland way, close enough. Same place. Chris up in Edinburgh. I was going to say
Yep.
Glasgow, but that's close enough. And I'm definitely saying Adam's from Manchester, so we've got everything covered.
I can actually feel Adam's face getting more red as he's raging.
Raging.
Alright, so this podcast is unscripted, unstructured and unplanned, so we're just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to throw a few questions out there and just see where the ramble takes us. And attempt to restore some order every now and then, drag us back to some sort of sense, mainly when Chris is talking. But we shall see. We shall see how it goes. So for our many hundreds of followers, you can follow us at TSO_podcast. So got a few questions to ask you. We'll get you all opinions on the last couple of days. So obviously since the Elimination Chamber and Raw and SmackDown, the 3 new champions: Bray Wyatt, Bayley, and Naomi. Chris obviously is a big fan of Bayley winning the title.
Apart from I wasn't there to see it. It should have been at WrestleMania, but
Yeah, she didn't get that memo at all, did she?
no.
I guess my question for all of you is, a lot of new champions in the run-up to Mania. That hasn't really happened before. So why do you think they're doing it? Do you think they should have waited to Mania and sort of finished the story properly and had a big moment for these guys, and especially Bray Wyatt, his first title, had him win it at Mania? Or do you reckon winning or changing the champions on sort of the TV shows is a bit more unpredictable? How do you
I
think
think
it's going?
Raw's just getting a bit predictable with changing their champions. That's just getting a little bit dull for me.
I think Charlotte will win it back at Fastlane.
Well, she's undefeated at pay-per-view, so...
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier on, I don't agree with Bayley winning it on Raw. I personally thought it would have ended up in some sort of disqualification where Bayley maybe had Charlotte beat and maybe Nia Jax was going to run in. Then Sasha was going to run in as well, and something would have happened from there to start the setup for the rumoured 4-way at WrestleMania. But obviously they've just pulled the trigger already and gave her the title.
I think they're just looking at it now and thinking, they're trying to, I don't know, swerve us all by saying everyone's expecting it. We're going to show them different.
I mean, it's good. It's good to keep people guessing when they're watching TV on Monday, but it would have meant a lot more if it happened at WrestleMania.
Definitely. Yeah. She deserves, as much as I dislike Bayley, she deserves a Mania moment.
I think even Naomi was talking about Orlando being her hometown. I thought, okay, they're building to some sort of story where she wins it at WrestleMania, and for her to win it early just seems like a slight waste, but I guess they can't have big moments in every match.
No, they can't. But I think it was too soon to take it off Alexa Bliss. I think she's been on a roll lately. Well, since she's been called up, really.
No, I was happy for Naomi. I was all over that. I told you though, didn't I, that she was going to shock everyone.
Yeah, I know you're a big Naomi fan, but I'm still struggling with
Yeah.
her. Still struggling with her. I can't get on board with her at all at the moment.
Yeah, I don't understand why. She deserved that. You have to admit it. Come on.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't really noticed her for the last... She says she's been here like 10 years or 8 years or whatever it is. Kind of barely noticed her for the last... and up into the last
That's
6
because she's
months.
not been used very well, but she works her arse off. You have to admit that.
Yeah, to be fair, she was just a Funkadactyl for like 6 years.
I mean, she's done well to come from that to where she is now. There's no doubt about that one.
Exactly. Definitely.
Well, you look at Cameron, she's gone. You know, she was the other Funkadactyl.
Yeah, but when your favourite match is Melina versus whoever it was, you don't deserve to be hired.
I think the Melina Rosa Mendez match was right up there, wasn't it?
Oh, please.
But I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking last time I was talking to you guys was we mentioned old pay-per-views that we were fans of, and I think going back to WrestleMania 10 and like the whole Lex Luger, he was going to win the title, and then I think he talked to somebody in a bar before the show, and Vince found out about it and changed his mind. And every time the media gets hold of stuff, or the newsletters get hold of stuff, they seem to change their mind quite quickly. And I think a lot of it was quite predictable. People thought Bayley was going to win at WrestleMania. They thought they think all these things. I wonder if they just changed them just to screw people over at the expense of the story they've already put in place. So that the Bailey thing feels really rushed, and I feel like they've done it just to prove to people they're unpredictable, but it kind of ruins the story a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I still think she'll win the title back at WrestleMania after she loses it at Fastlane, but I don't think she'll pin Charlotte at WrestleMania.
So then Charlotte's still undefeated at pay-per-views.
Technically, she's still lost, but she can go on and say that she's never been pinned in pay-per-view or something like that, and Sasha will end up turning heel because Bailey pinned Sasha or something like that.
I think this all goes back to a little bit of like short-term planning for me. I think they just try. I feel like they're writing shows week by week, and they think, right, what will be good this week? I'll tell you what, let's have Bailey win the title. Let's have, let's do this, let's do that, and it feels like they're just trying to pop the rating for that 1 week. I'm not sure what their long-term plan is, and I was thinking about with WrestleMania having Goldberg and Lesnar in the main events and all those things. Feels like probably The Rock's going to come in, and it feels like they're doing a lot of stuff that's like really short-term planning just to get a couple of extra people watching it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the ratings have obviously went up as any time Goldberg's been on the show, but as a part-time champion, really what you want?
No.
People have been held back as well as a result of it, because you think who could be in the Goldberg position now? They could do Owens Lesnar. They could do anything apart from Goldberg Lesnar. They could have really pushed somebody up.
They should. I mean, they should be pushing the guys out there every year into main event spots that they're in the main events, or anyone that's not named Roman Reigns. Not a Roman Reigns fan. So.
Well, obviously you're a secret Reigns fan, aren't you, Reg?
No.
I think he has grown on me recently, though.
I think you're the only one.
The only one, am I?
Yeah.
No,
You can represent
I'm a
Roman.
Reigns fan.
Kev, really?
Really?
No.
I have been since the Shield.
It's not even the fact. Now we're kind of going off subject from what Damon started with, and we're just going to start bashing Roman Reigns now.
That's fine. We can do 20 minutes on bashing Reigns. That's fine.
Yeah, Reigns. It's not even the fact that he's bad. It's just the way that he's booked and pushed down everybody's throats, and I can't take them at all.
I kind of with Cal on this though.
I like Reigns.
Yeah, but why?
I think his music's pretty cool. It's got quite a good entrance. He's got quite a good look. If they pushed him right, he'd be like.
He needs to change. He needs to change all that though. He's the only one, and this is again why, in my opinion, some of the fans don't take him. He looks like he's the entitled one. He kept the Shield look, he kept the Shield music, he kept all his mannerisms from the Shield. When all the other guys have kind of moved on, they've got a different look, they've got different music. They've went on to other things, and apart from Reigns, he's still kind of stuck in the Shield. When the rest of the guys have kind of progressed and moved on.
I can kind of see that. I think if he was booked slightly different, if he came out more serious, I think there was a promo on Raw last week or the week before, came out quite serious. Maybe it was the Goldberg thing, I can't remember, but him being serious, some sort of silent assassin type guy, that would work quite well. When he comes out and he tries to do all this comedy stuff, it just doesn't work at all. I kind of just hate him even more. But I think...
I'll throw this out there just to see what you think. Reigns' heel turn as a Paul Heyman guy.
I don't know about that.
It would work.
I would buy that. I would buy that definitely.
Yeah, because
people want to boo him, and Heyman's the best in the business at promos and building a guy up.
Yeah, that could be the only way to make it work, I guess.
I think if the rumours of him and The Undertaker are true, then he's going to have to go heel in that match, because he obviously doesn't get cheered anyway, but he definitely won't be cheered against The Undertaker. Nobody is.
No.
So it's a good time. If they're going to do it, they haven't really got the form for turning people at the right time. Cena could have done it a couple of years ago. They haven't really got very good form for it, but if they're going to do it, it's a decent time.
how would you turn him heel?
He's going up against The Undertaker. It's simple as that. He's heel by default.
If you have it as a retirement match, he could do the thing that Lesnar couldn't retire him properly, and then Heyman moves on to Reigns because of that. You could do something there.
Yeah, I mean, if they did it as a retirement match, I'd have him win dirty. And that's
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Although it is WrestleMania, I want to see the Undertaker win, but that's just
Yeah.
that's like the 10-year-old kid in me. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But-
There could be quite a good Mania moment with Taker walking off as like a slow walk off on his last time. If they do that as like that Mick Foley walk off at No Way
No Way
Out
Out 2000.
Yeah, that sort of slow walk off, look back. That could be quite a good little moment.
I don't think this is going to be his last match. I really don't.
I'm actually agreeing with Rach here.
Yeah, I think
Still
everyone's
are.
building up a lot of hype, but I really don't think it is.
Do you think he'll be in a match at WrestleMania?
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say yes.
So there's a lot of talk going around about him going for surgery. He looked pretty poor at the Rumble. He looked like the old man that he is, to be honest.
Yeah, he did look rough. I'm not going to lie.
And he hasn't really, obviously, he hasn't been on TV since much. I don't think they're not really pushing a major storyline.
They started at the Rumble, though. They started with as soon as Reigns eliminated him, that was the build up to the story. And if you watch back the video when he's eliminated, Reigns mouths at him and says, "This is my yard now." You can see that on the video, so that's the start of the storyline. I think
Because if he got injured in that match, or if he wasn't feeling it and he's decided to back out, like they haven't pushed it hugely. They could come back from that quite easily. That's not set in stone. They haven't really talked about it much.
if he's legitimately injured, they can obviously change those plans. But then where does it leave Reigns?
I don't know. I think if he wrestles, it'll probably be his last one. So I actually think he's struggling a little bit now.
I
think-
agree he's struggling, but I
Yeah.
do think he'll make another appearance somewhere down the line.
I think he'll hold off until New Orleans to try and get his win back against Lesnar.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you really think? How old is Undertaker now? Are we thinking late 50s?
52.
52, is he? Okay.
So he'll be 53 by the time New Orleans comes round. But
Jesus, he looks older, doesn't he? But if you were a 52-year-old guy, and you were struggling, even if you're the Undertaker, you're struggling, and you think, I just need to get through like a 20-minute match here. Is the one guy you want to face Lesnar out of all of them?
I think it's the
Lesnar
fact,
doesn't protect you, does he, at all?
but Lesnar respects the Undertaker as well. So I think it would be an honour for him, or he'd see it as an honour to be Undertaker's last match at New Orleans. If that's the road that they go down, obviously that's me just speculating.
To be fair, I'd totally buy into that. If they did a bit of a redemption for the Undertaker, he has to beat the one guy that beat him, and then once he's done that, he can retire. If
In
they
the same
did-
stadium
yeah,
that he
if they-
lost,
Yeah,
the story
okay.
itself, really.
Yeah, I'd totally buy into that.
Where's Kane?
I think you're the only person ever to ask that.
He can still go for his age.
He's good in the right situation, I think, but it's not somebody I want to see on TV every week, is he?
His matches with Rollins last year. Was it last year? You know. Or was it the year before?
It's the year before when Rollins injured himself.
Yeah. I mean, Rollins then, Kane got the best out of Rollins and vice versa.
I think it's not taking away anything from Kane, but that's going to be down to Rollins as well for me.
I think I don't miss Kane at all. You know,
No, he's still got a good use when he can be used, but
again,
Yeah, but he doesn't really bring much, really, though, does he, to anything nowadays?
I think,
He's-
like we were saying
he can-
earlier, I think if they push the part-timers, they've got far too many guys on the roster already. If they can, there's no need to bring Kane back. To be honest, I know the Undertaker's the Undertaker, but they've got so many other guys that could fill Mania top spots.
the Undertaker for me is the only one that can come back whenever he wants and do what he wants. But with Kane should be in the same, for me, should be in the same type of role of a Big Show or a Mark Henry. He's there to put the younger guys over, to make the younger guys look strong. Kind of like what Big Show's doing this week that's been announced, he's facing Strowman. Obviously Strowman's going to destroy him.
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there might be a period where Big Show gets some offense in, but I think they're going to make Strowman look strong going into WrestleMania.
Because obviously the Big Show's in a featured match at WrestleMania, and Strowman isn't.
Yeah, but it's Shaq, isn't it? I mean, sorry.
But they want to present it as a serious thing, don't they?
Yeah, so Big Show got a match with Mark Henry 2 weeks before WrestleMania and won that,
Yeah.
just to make him look a bit stronger again against a bigger guy.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be the toilet break match, wouldn't it?
I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
I know there'll be a lot of people in America that'll be interested in that match, but
So
No.
Rach can miss the Bailey match and Willow miss the Shaq match.
I'm cool with that.
Well, I think if we all have to give Naomi a chance, you have to give Bailey a chance.
Oh my days, no. Not going to happen.
what was the other point that you made, Adam? Sorry, Damon. Was it talking about new champions as well? Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about Bray Wyatt actually, because I know probably everybody in here is a bit of a fan of Bray, but every feud he's had up until probably the Survivor Series a couple of months ago, he was, he lost all of them. I think he had the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he had, I can't remember whose other feuds were now, but I think he's lost.
He lost to Cena at WrestleMania as well, didn't he?
Yeah, so he's had a big, he's been put in big situations and he's lost every single time. And I'm thinking for them to just basically throw the belt onto him out of kind of nowhere. It wasn't built up hugely. It was kind of a bit of a thrown together thing. And a Wyatt Orton main event maybe. Well, it depends what Orton's doing now, but a couple of months ago that wouldn't have been a main event match at all. And I'm just thinking, is it too late for him to be champion? Maybe a couple of years ago would have been better. Is it too early? He hasn't built himself back up again to be seen as a champion in everyone's eyes. What do people think of Wyatt as?
It's definitely too late. He should have been.
Yeah.
Champion.
He's just lost his momentum a little bit. I think if they'd done it a couple of years ago, it would have worked quite well, but I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for him and everything, but I don't know if Elimination Chamber was the place to kind of do that.
Bear in mind who's on his show as well. He's got Styles on there and Cena and Ambrose. And I'm thinking at the moment he's better than all of them, because he's the champion.
For me, all you guys know, but people that are listening, for me, AJ Styles should have walked into WrestleMania as champion. After the year that he's had, he's been the best wrestler, the best performer on WWE TV for the last year. And this was his year for me. He should have been in the main event of WrestleMania.
So
Yeah,
why do you think
I agree there.
Why do you think, Kev? Why do you think they've just given it to Wyatt? Like Styles could have easily walked into Mania as champion, easy to get there. Cena probably could have as well. There's an argument to say Ambrose could have, but Wyatt.
Is it again? No, not the shock value of we can do it anytime we want for the surprise.
Yeah, it's kind of like just popping a rating again, isn't it? Just showing they're unpredictable, but I'm not sure if that overly helps the story overall.
It does. I personally think he should have won it at WrestleMania. Had that WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I think this will only be the only championship he gets. What's major?
Do you think it should have been a bit of a role reversal then, Kev, where Bray Wyatt wins the Rumble and Orton won the title?
Yeah.
And then they go on from there. But obviously they're coming off his SmackDown when Orton's said that he's not going to fight Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Yeah, how many of us believe that?
I don't believe it. That goes back to what I said last week. The triple threat with Luke Harper.
You reckon the triple threat with Luke Harper, yeah?
There's another road that they can go down, which I think is a lot better than another rumoured match, is that AJ Styles wins it and it's a triple threat.
What, AJ, Wyatt and Orton?
AJ wins the Battle Royal next week.
That'll be a much better match for him than Shane.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Shane doesn't need to be on the card for me. I mean, he probably is because he's going to be on there for some reason because he's a McMahon. But that's nothing against Shane.
Talking of Wyatt and even Styles and Cena, the triple threat they had on SmackDown, I was thinking as watching it, I was thinking there isn't that many protected finishers left. Cena probably gave about 10. What's he calling it? The AA now? I keep calling it the FU. But you get the 10 of them, and Styles kept hitting his forearm, and even his proper finishing move, Cena kicked out of, and Wyatt's finisher, probably with the RKO as well, but Wyatt's finisher seems to be the only protected one left. I can't think of many more that means the end of the match. Almost every single one has been kicked out of hundreds of times now.
Baron Corbin's End of Days.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
Nobody's kicked out of that.
You know which one was what the most protected finisher of all time is? And I don't know if you know this, but the Razor's Edge, when Razor Ramon hit it. Because he refused to do that move unless he was going to win a match. So if he hit that move, he won the match.
Why did he insist?
Well, I think a big question is, why does Chris know that?
He knows everything.
Oracle Chris again.
He's obviously just a big believer of protecting your gimmick and protecting your finisher. So he said, if I'm not winning a match, I'm not hitting my move. So, yeah.
To be fair, I'm all for finishers being protected.
As it should be. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see the odd occasion where someone hits a finisher like a WrestleMania or something like that, or a big match that's been built up. Yes, I can see that, but for the most part, finishers should be just that.
I suppose it is good. We're talking about Wyatt on this, probably a bit too late for Wyatt now, but he's beaten Cena and Styles pretty cleanly in the Chamber, and he beat them cleanly again on SmackDown, and they're protecting his finishers. They seem to be doing the right things with him at the moment, but yeah, it probably is. It just feels
A year or
rushed
two too late.
A little bit too late, yeah.
If it does end up being a one-on-one match between him and Orton for whatever reason, I know obviously the Battle Royal has been announced and the winner of that's going to go into WrestleMania 2. I'd have Bray Wyatt win at WrestleMania. Just to cement him as a main eventer again. Because they've got to do that. They've got to keep building these new guys up, because you can't keep relying on part-time guys or older guys like Cena. Because he's not going to be there all the time.
So do you think Wyatt needs the title? Because I was thinking earlier, he's got a bit of an Undertaker feel about him in that he's kind of like an attraction already, somehow, even though he hasn't been there that long. He's like a bit of an attraction. When he comes out, people buy him immediately as a bit of a threat. They may not see him as the top guy, but he's always a bit of a threat, like the Undertaker was. He probably doesn't need the title to get that reaction.
I mean, I think he could have done with it, like I say, a couple of years ago. I don't think he needs it now. I do think it's been pretty rushed, this whole process of him winning the championship at Chamber. But I don't know. I like Bray. I'm a big fan, but I don't really think that was a good call, in my opinion.
It's really hard for me to get over the fact that, is it IRS's son?
Yeah.
IRS's son to be world champion is something I'm still trying to get my head around.
Will somebody please think of Bo Dallas?
Believe in Bo.
Believe.
That's some sibling rivalry that's gone a bit one-sided, isn't it?
It's hard
You
to
know,
believe.
sorry.
It's hard to believe that he was once Husky Harris.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. You remember that? Wow. Blah.
Back when NXT was lifting kegs up and running around the ring, and
Yeah.
So who's
the days of NXT.
so obviously it's Bray's first title. Who's just going around the group here? Who do you think hasn't won the title yet that you'd be pretty excited to see win for the first time? Is there any, apart from the really new guys like Corbin and stuff, is there any first-time champions that you can see coming up this year or maybe next year that you'd be pretty excited about?
I'd like to see Zayn, just because the guy's in the ring. He's one of the best.
What, as the WWE champion or an Intercontinental or something?
I'd see Sam as a world champion.
Oh no, I don't see that at all.
See, we're going to have words, I think. If you don't like Zayn or Bailey, then, you know...
Oh, really? Am I bothered?
But I think Sami Zayn deserves it, to be honest. I think...
Maybe not this year,
is
but he's the one that I can think of off the top of my head. He might maybe a mid-card title this year and maybe build towards something towards maybe next summer.
What do we think about The Miz getting another chance right at the top?
The Miz has been awesome this last year.
Yeah.
He's been really good.
The best heel that they've had this last year.
Do you reckon he'll get another shot? Do you reckon there's so many guys ahead of him, but do you reckon they might give him one last shot?
No, I think he's done.
You reckon?
I don't think he would. Yeah, I don't think he'll get another chance. There's too many.
I think he'll be that upper mid-card heel kind of thing that puts over the babyface on his way to the title kind of thing.
Yeah.
kind of sounds like that's where Ambrose is a bit stuck as well. Maybe that's where he wants to be.
I think that's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He wants to be the guy that puts over the younger guys on their way to bigger and better things. I think he's kind of came out and said that he's quite happy being like that upper mid card guy, but not the guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's pretty cool of him, because obviously, you know, every company needs that sort of guy who's happy in his spot, won't cause that many problems, you know, can go in the main events if he needs to, can drop down if he needs to. If you have too many guys fighting for the top, it'll just cause problems. So for him to come out and say that is, you know, I bet they're loving him.
Well, wouldn't you? I do.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see him with the title again anytime soon.
For a while, I know. No, I do. They just need to turn him heel now. Come on. That'll be more fun. He was brilliant when he was in the Shield as a heel. Don't get me wrong, he's fabulous, you know, as a champion and, you know, as a face and stuff, but I think he could do a much better job if they turned him heel.
So obviously you're probably the biggest Ambrose fan in here.
Well, yeah.
Out of the 3 Shield guys, you know, he's probably come out of that the worst, hasn't he?
With the fans.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone thought Rollins was the main guy, really.
Obviously Rollins has probably come out of it the best. He was the main guy, and you can hate on Reigns all you like, but
Don't worry.
Every show I've been to, the reaction Reigns gets is the loudest of the night.
Yeah, but boos are quite loud.
Yeah, but if they didn't care, then they'd be quiet. Do you mean it's not like I don't care boos? It's like I hate.
It's
you.
kind.
That's kind of, yeah, I know.
It's kind of like Cena back when he was kind of moved from being his cool heel rapper kind of thing and moved into more hustle, loyal, respect, and he was starting to get booed and everything. It's the same kind of deal. As long as you're making noise, they don't care.
Well, yeah.
Whether it's you're cheering someone or you're booing someone, as long as you're making noise.
I think the last show I went to was just a house show in Cardiff. Wasn't anything major. Fans were, you know, reasonable, but they weren't like super loud. And I don't think Reigns was there, but they had one of these guess who it is silhouette games before the show. And the reaction that some people got was quite quiet, and the reaction that Reigns got when he wasn't even there was still the loudest of the night. So it doesn't really matter if he's getting booed when he's not meant to. The crowd will react to him.
Speaking of reactions, did you see the Emelina thing? I mean, that was the weirdest reaction I think I've seen for a long time. That was bizarre.
It was an odd thing to do, wasn't it?
I don't understand the reasoning behind that at all.
I feel like they just completely changed their mind and they had to like scrap it in a hurry, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they've made a mess of it completely.
Yeah, they knew it wasn't going to work.
But it's a really
To
weird
be fair,
way to scrap it. Just don't bring her out and pretend like it didn't happen.
But she was doing really well in her heel role before she got injured.
Yeah, I think so.
I think she found a character that kind of worked for her as well. Plus, she is a very good-looking girl as well. So
easily pleased, Chris.
I don't think I've heard Chris say a WWE woman isn't attractive.
So what's next then?
So I was going to get on to Chris's specialist subject, then the UK scene. I'm a bit behind on this. I'm going to have to leave it to you guys here, but obviously WWE is getting much more involved in the last probably year. That's probably where my knowledge has come in purely from WWE's involvement. So it kind of feels like they're almost either buying out or partnering with almost everybody. And whether you think you're closer to this than probably anybody, whether you think that's a good thing, there's obviously more eyes on it now, or a bad thing because there's not really many independents left.
I think it depends on what the deal actually is. If obviously rumours are that the likes of Progress and ICW and everything are going to end up on the WWE network. If that is true, for me it's a good thing if they can still be who they are and they can still use the guys that they're using at the moment without restrictions.
Do you think with them being on the network they might have to go a bit more PG? Because I've been to a few shows and they're not at all PG. I know if a deal
ICW is definitely not PG, so but they do have obviously parental controls on the network as well. So, and I've had some non-PG shows on the network before, so I don't see why they should have to tone it down. They could just put a warning before it to say this show is rated whatever it is for some violence and blood or whatever the case may be. I mean, they've got ECW on there.
Yeah, but it's the older shows, isn't it, which they can't really do a lot about, but they stopped the chair shots for, I guess, the concussion reason. And they stopped a number. Obviously, they've fixed the chamber to make it a little bit safer.
With the padding.
Making a steel cage safer sounds a bit weird. But they've obviously made a couple of changes, and for them to show like an ICW match with a full-blooded chair shot or whatever it is, and somebody complains or something happens and they'd get in trouble by association, I'm not sure.
I mean, ideally you want these companies, and I'm putting progress in the same bubble here, you want these people to be able to kind of put their shows on if both of those companies end up on the network, I'm saying. You want these people to put on the same shows that they're putting on just now, the ones that are getting the fans to come to see them, and not be restricted.
So obviously,
I would think.
Up Your Way is mainly ICW, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Up Your Way's not really, I think Progress is probably more Adam's Way. Really, there's a lot of Progress shows, sort of north of the country.
Yeah, I mean they tend to do them down in London actually. I think they do one in London, one up north, one in London, one in the middle, so to speak. Birmingham or things like that. But,
yes. Yeah. No one comes down as far as Bristol. I should use this as my plea for people to come down to Bristol.
I will say then, Damien, that ICW does have a show in Bristol soon.
Oh, well, there you go then. There you go.
So you can nip along to that. Yeah, and go down and see that one if you want.
Well, Kev's quite nicely placed. He's sort of in the middle of, kind of in the middle of Manchester and Edinburgh, really, aren't you? My geography is shocking,
yeah.
But yeah.
Kind of halfway, isn't you, Kev?
Yeah. So we get nothing at all here.
Well, you get WCPW, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should definitely do a big section now on your thoughts about that show. Did you catch any of their show? I think they had a show. Was it last Sunday? I think Kurt Angle was there.
Is that the one that was in Milton Keynes?
Yeah.
I've not seen any of that one, to be fair. So
I think I saw a clip on Twitter or something about their ring breaking.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've seen about it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they came up to Edinburgh a few weeks ago, so I went along to that one. But that was mainly to Adam Cole. He was up in Edinburgh for that one. He's a name that I've never seen yet, so I had to go and see that.
Yeah. So I think that probably brings me on, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but probably brings me on to quite a nice little tangent onto a question is probably who's the biggest name that you would want to come to WWE this year?
Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Paul Nakano. I had to get her in somewhere this hour.
Oh, it's like a mission, isn't it? On every podcast, just get her name in there somewhere.
I hope she's in Orlando.
I think you're the only one that's ever said that either.
What? I hope she's in Orlando.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her. I think probably this podcast now is probably going to be quite special. I can't imagine her name getting mentioned on a lot of podcasts.
It should be called the Bull Nakano Show.
It should. It really should. We'd be top of the Google list, that's for sure. No one else is searching for her. I love that you're stuck in, when was she popular? Was it, the mid-80s?
No, it was 95.
Oh,
Chris.
That one match that she had.
She was champion. Didn't she beat Alundra Blaze?
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah, in that huge women's division they had back then, which consisted of just the two of them.
And Bertha Faye.
Oh dear.
I miss Harvey Whippleman. Where's Harvey Whippleman gone?
Wasn't he married to her?
I don't think so. Was he?
I don't know. I'm Googling now.
Yeah, okay. Good. Well, you do that then. So Chris, I know you're fairly in there with the ICW guys, so I'm going to use your insider knowledge now. Do you think there's a deal imminent, or do you think it's been done, or what do you think their plan is with the network?
I really don't know. To be honest, I mean, there's obviously rumours and everything that the deal is done, but I think if it was done already, there's been plenty of time to announce it. So I would have thought when they were over for the UK Championship, obviously, if you watched the two shows, you've seen the likes of Mark Dallas and everything on the two shows. Well, on one of the shows because they had ICW had an event on the Sunday. So Mark Dallas was on the show on the Saturday, and there was Jim Smallman was on the show as well on the Saturday, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
So I would have thought that when they were up there, they maybe had some sort of talks about it to try and iron out a few deals, but I don't know if it's been completed or nothing yet. So yeah,
the UK
I think
Championship was quite a good shop window for a lot of these guys, because I know, obviously, I was there. I think a bunch of us were there as well. It was probably one of the best shows I've seen live, and the reaction from the American fans that I spoke to, they were loving it as well, which I was a bit dubious as to whether they'd completely get on board with it or not, because
I think
they don't know many of the guys. They're all UK guys. They could have easily just gone not interested, but.
And there's obviously a market for it there, because the UK Championship being defended on NXT this week with Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. So that's a pretty big thing for the UK title as well, and for the UK scene really.
So are they based now in Orlando permanently, those guys?
No, because they're still, well, Trent's obviously the ICW champion, so it's quite strange that you've got the UK Championship. Well, the UK champion, against the ICW champion on NXT.
Oh, I bet they don't let him carry his ICW title around, will they?
Oh, he won't. He won't show that on NXT at least. Anyway, maybe if they become more affiliated, you might see a little blur of the lines there. But
and also, Trent and Tyler are the Progress Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, but they've mentioned that as well already, haven't they?
Have they?
Tyler mentioned that last week. There was an interview on WWE.com.
Oh, right.
It'd be good to see Pete. I think Pete Dunne's got a match maybe next week. It's already been taped, I think, but
yeah, they all got taped, haven't they, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, so Pete Dunne's got a match coming up soon as well. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction he gets as well on NXT, because that guy's a hell of a talent.
So I think you and Adam are probably definitely our sort of UK indie experts on this. I think, especially myself, I'm not sure about Rach and Kev here, but I'm a little bit lacking in knowledge on this, on the whole indie side, really. So
yeah, I don't follow it really at all.
Well, Kev and myself went up to the ICW show in Newcastle, which was last Sunday, Kev?
The Sunday before, I think.
It was the 5th of February. Yeah. So we went up to the ICW Square Go, which was a really good show, wasn't it, Kev?
Oh, it was amazing. Really, really enjoyed it.
So that was your first ICW show, was it, Kev?
Yeah.
So I was going to say, if people want to obviously tweet us at TSO_podcast, they can, especially probably me and Rach, then just let us know what promotions you recommend. It sounds like ICW and Progress are probably the main two in the UK, but I'm a little bit, as I said, I'm completely lacking in this, in watching most of these shows. So if there's something people recommend as a bit of a foot in the door, a bit of a starting place, it'd be quite good to get more involved.
I don't know if anybody's seen the Fight Club Pro Easter weekend lineup. Have anyone seen that?
No, I've not seen that.
If you get a chance to see that lineup, it is without a doubt the greatest lineup ever to come onto British shores.
So when's that? That's March or April, is it?
It's the 14th, 15th, 16th of April, yeah. But the talent they've got, I mean, they've got like a real few names. They've got Pentagon Jr., Sammy Callahan, they've got Trent and Tyler, Zack Sabre Jr., Phoenix, Pete Dunne, Marty Scurll, Haskins, Ospreay, The Elite. Obviously, that's Kenny Omega in there. You know, the lineup's immense.
I'll need to check that out.
Is this a show that you're going to, Adam, or sold out, I assume? Or?
I'm going to the Saturday in Manchester, but there's Friday in Wolverhampton and Sunday in London, I think. I think most of them are at all the shows. The Elite one is only on the Friday, but yeah, if you should get any tickets, definitely should go to that.
Very good place for us to start. So I think all of us are going to some shows in Orlando. Probably should mention this. Obviously, all of us going to WrestleMania next year. I think all of us are going to a few non-WWE shows as well. Are we?
Yeah. Just a couple.
Just so you know, WrestleMania this year.
This year, yeah.
I know. Get so used to saying it's next year, don't you?
Still can't believe we're mid-February. When did that happen?
We'll probably go to WrestleMania next year as well, but
Yeah, just like getting there. But actually, it's about 5 weeks, isn't it?
6.5, yeah.
6.5, yeah. That would fly by. So
Wow.
yeah, it's obviously most of the schedule is filled up with WWE shows, but I think we're going to Progress as well over there.
Yeah.
Which ones?
I've got tickets to Progress and the WrestleCon Super Show.
Which are you missing NXT then? You're missing Hall of Fame.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I respect Angle, just sitting there listening to people talk for 4 hours isn't my idea of a good time when I can see people actually wrestle.
Did you go
So
last year to the Hall of Fame?
No.
See, I'm kind of on your wavelength there, sort of listening to people, but stuff. I'm thinking it's my first time. Probably should go to at least one of them. Do you want to just go, just check out at least once, and then you can say you've done it.
I'd be quite happy going back to the hotel after the show and then watching the Hall of Fame on the network.
So what about you, Kev? You planning on seeing any shows out in Orlando?
I'm just going to the Thursday night WrestlePro show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm going to other than WWE.
Ah, see, that's what we're doing as well, isn't it, Damien?
Yeah, and I think Adam's finally sorting himself out as well, haven't you?
Finally.
Yeah, we're just going to the Friday
The Progress show.
Progress show, yeah, and then obviously we're going to go do a bit of WrestleCon.
So I think there's a lot of guys at Progress that seem to be part of NXT as well. I think Tyler Bates there. I think Trent Seven's there. So I think a lot of them are doing double duty as well over that weekend.
Yeah, I think Tyler, Trent, Pete, and Mandrews have all been announced for Progress so far.
It'd be interesting to see if any of them show up on NXT.
I think they all will.
Because obviously they've got Progress versus Evolve the same time as NXT.
Yeah, true.
But it's not that far away from what I believe it's like maybe 25 minutes drive or something like that. So they could maybe appear on one show early and go to the next show.
Yeah, well, I mean, Finn did it from Birmingham to Blackpool for the UK Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, obviously, a lot of us are checking out all these different shows. You obviously know a lot of the people. And what do you reckon is going to be the show of the weekend? Because obviously WrestleMania is the biggest show, but quite often it doesn't end up being the best show of the weekend. NXT normally takes that title. What do you reckon? NXT
stole it last year. Yeah.
Obviously, this year might be harder to meet.
I'll wait to see. Yeah, I'll wait to see what's announced for the Progress and the WrestleCon Super Show. But for me, nothing can touch NXT just now. Well, over the last period, just their takeovers are just superb.
So you think obviously last year they had Zayn and Nakamura, and they had Finn and Joe last year?
Yeah.
This year, I'm not sure if the card is as strong as that.
Might not be as strong, but they still put on great matches.
So imagine it'd be Nakamura and Rude, you would guess.
You might have Cassius Ohno in that mix as well somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think he's obviously going to. It's been announced that he's got a match with Bobby Roode at the next set of NXT tapings.
So it's interesting you mention him actually, because one of my last questions for this was going to talk to you a lot about a lot of the guys in WWE now have got a certain look. Like obviously before, the typical Vince guy was like, tall, muscly, big, and now you've got Kevin Owens as champion. You've got Bray Wyatt as champion. They've called up Chris Hero, who doesn't look like the fittest guy in the world. Obviously, he's much fitter than me, but he doesn't look like it. And they seem to be changing with the typical look, and I don't know if that's.
I was going to say, don't let Chris Hero or Cassius Ohno, he's obviously in NXT, don't let his look fool you. That guy can go.
Yeah, no, his stamina, as I said, his stamina's pretty strong, but his look isn't a typical WWE look. Do you think they're consciously changing that, or do you think some of these guys' talent just can't be ignored? Do you think it's as simple as that?
Just talent. Sorry, Adam?
No, yeah, I was going to say it's got to be talent, but obviously Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno has been in there before, and he got cut. So, what's made them bring him back?
They released him because of his look, didn't they?
Mm.
So is this more of a Triple H thing? Because obviously Triple H used to be a big bodybuilder guy. He was into how guys looked, and you can't say that he's responsible for the changing look of these guys. But obviously, something has changed in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, but it's because he recognises that talent, doesn't he? I mean, Kevin Owens, he has got a moveset. You have to give him that. You know, he can hit hard.
Yeah.
And he's not, you know, the typical WWE look. Yeah, I give you that. But, you know, I quite like his matches. I think he's pretty good in the ring.
No, absolutely. I'm a massive fan of Owens and a massive fan of Bray Wyatt. And I've seen Chris here in a few matches, been a big fan and stuff. So it's obviously not a criticism. It's quite a good thing what they're doing. You need guys that look different. But it's been a big change, isn't it? It's been a big change recently.
Plus, it gives me hope for finally realising my dream of being WWE champion.
You do look like, actually, for the people that can't see Adam, we'll have to release some pictures soon. But kind of looks like a mix between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, really.
Adam, if you really want to be a WWE champion, they've got 30% off on the Euro shop at the moment.
On belts?
Yes.
Oh, my days. Don't even tempt me.
So
I'm going to be strong.
Rachel's our resident belt collector.
I'm going to be strong. I'm not even going to look.
See, we could use this podcast as a chance to say people who've got any old belts lying around that they don't want, they could donate them to you.
Yeah!
There you go.
I've got space. I'll have to get another cabinet and everything.
I think you should put a picture of your cabinet up on Twitter, Rach.
Well, yeah. Why not? I've got one more space. So I need to fill it up.
We should use this as your chance to appeal for the one you're missing.
Yeah, what, the women's one from 2000?
The old school Stephanie McMahon women's one.
That's the one. That's the one I need.
Do they sell that?
I haven't seen it. If I see it, I will buy it. But I've just never come across it. It's never been on Euroshop.
I think
You
it's
don't
on
want
there
the
now.
one that you don't want the one that Bill Nakano had then. Careful what you say now. Adam's listening.
Maybe I just won't comment.
What's wrong with Bull Nakano?
So Adam's stuck in the 80s. Chris knows everything. Rachel collects belts. We need to mock Kev about something. Obviously something other than the accent. We need to mock Kev about something else.
And obviously his football team.
I was just about to say it's not fair to mock him because his football team is bad.
See, if any American people are listening to this will suddenly make no sense to them at all.
Oh, sorry, soccer.
I was thinking more of the Sunderland Newcastle thing, but thanks for clarifying that, Adam.
Yeah.
You are.
For any Americans listening, we play football with a ball on the ground and we kick it with our feet. You know, foot and ball.
It's good that these American listeners won't be coming back next week. So we haven't got to worry about that now. So that's good. So thanks to Chris making that easier.
No worries, that's what I'm here for.
What do people think of Luke Harper? He never really gets a mention.
I think he's really good.
You mentioned earlier about sort of first time champions and sort of people that might sneak under the radar and stuff, and I was impressed with him.
He had a really good match with Orton at the Elimination Chamber.
He's very underrated. He has been since.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
I think he had that IC title run where he started to show his potential, and then he went back to the Wyatts after that.
Yeah, because he had it was an IC title ladder match with Dolph Ziggler a couple of years ago, and that just off the top of my head, that was a really good match as well. Something to kind of look out if you can find it.
Yeah, he's definitely right. I feel sorry for Rowan because Rowan's not that bad either. He's just been unlucky that he's got Wyatt Harper ahead of him, and then he's had his injuries.
Yeah, I mean he's no pun intended, but he's probably the black sheep.
Oh dear.
Okay, that bit's definitely been cut out.
to be fair, it was Strowman that wore the black sheep mask, so.
So as I say, obviously there's the cruiserweights we haven't really talked about as well. I know they bore me to death, so I'm going to try and be nice here. But obviously the guy up near Kev's way, either from your city or fairly close to it, in Neville. Is he?
He's fairly close,
Sunderland?
but Newcastle.
He's Newcastle, is he? Close enough.
Yeah. It's not that far away.
There's a little rumour of him and Austin Aries at Mania, maybe?
No, I would like to see that, although I'm not a fan of the cruiserweights, to be fair.
I thought 205 Live this week was pretty good. I think Neville, since he's turned heel, has been really good as well. And they don't obviously get enough time on Raw. They only get like 2-minute matches, 3-minute matches, 4-minute matches or something, and maybe get a wee interview segment or something. But obviously 205 Live, they've got more time to kind of tell a story and get over their personalities. So they're kind of doing that a little bit with Akira Tozawa. He's feuding with Brian Kendrick just now. Obviously you've got the whole Noam Dar, Alicia Fox thing. Obviously being a Scot, I'm going to back Noam Dar. And Rich One just come back as well, so you had Rich One against Noam Dar this week, which is pretty good.
I just get really bored. I don't have any sort of input to the cruiserweights at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Neville, but I do fast forward on that now. I tried, but it was just not good.
But then I take it you don't watch 205 Live, Rich?
No, I don't. I did in the beginning, but not now.
That's fair enough. I mean, I know obviously people have other things to do. You don't just sit and watch wrestling all week, so... But
don't you?
Well, I'm saying some people don't.
Oh, I said you do. I think they should take it back to Full Sail. You know,
yeah.
You know, like the Cruiserweight Classic was all there, and that was, you know, the crowd were hot then. So why not have them?
But I think there was a conference call or something where Triple H said you might see like an amalgamation of NXT 205 Live and the UK Championship kind of thing.
No,
so all of them. They would all kind of intermingle between each other.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the UK Championship on NXT, but I don't think Cruiserweight should be on there.
Well, a lot of the guys on NXT are under 205 anyway.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it should have its own identity, but just a smaller venue.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I'd take it back to Full Sail and have it under the 205 branding as well. That would be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Cruiserweight's got potential. They've just not utilised it yet.
So do you think it's a slight mistake for them to not mix with the other guys? Obviously, in WCW they mix with the other guys quite a bit.
Yeah, I think the Cruiserweight WCW was the greatest Cruiserweight era that I can remember. I can't think of a better Cruiserweight era than 96 to say 2000.
So Halloween Havoc, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio.
I can't remember.
I think, come on, you're letting the side down here. You need to have the same memory as Chris.
I think the best Cruiserweight match I saw was the one where, was it a Battle Royal which Dean Malenko won under a mask? Chris, do you remember?
That's a hell of a clue, Adam. Thanks for that.
Dean Malenko he got refused a title shot against Jericho, so they had a battle royal to get the number one contender, and Dean Malenko won it under the mask, took his mask off, and obviously it was Dean Malenko. Do you not remember that, Chris?
To be fair, I was never a big WCW watcher, so I've seen matches here and there, but I can't remember that one, to be completely honest.
I'm sure it was the Cruiserweight.
I'm sure I can remember watching that on the network.
Yeah.
But it would have been last year now, because I went through a whole stage of watching all the WCW pay-per-views.
Yeah.
There was something like that happen, but for the life of us, I cannot remember exactly.
Yeah.
So I think while Adam's trying to remember, which could take, a good...
It was the Cruiserweight. I've just checked. It was the Cruiserweight.
Probably brings on to what's everyone's favourite pay-per-view then across, because like Chris, I probably wasn't a massive WCW fan at all. I've probably actually still seen none of their pay-per-views all the way through.
No, I mean, I dipped in and out when there was someone that was interested in, like, to be fair, Bret Hart, obviously, so it's a WWE guy going to WCW that's made me go and watch some WCW. Or I'd see some of the NWO stuff or something like that. But apart from that, I was never big into WCW.
What's the best show you've seen then, Chris? Not live necessarily, but what's the best pay-per-view show that you've probably ever watched?
WrestleMania 17.
Is that still a top one for you?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a popular choice, that one.
I just think it's the perfect combination of the Attitude Era. Everything was kind of building up to Austin Rock and the way it paid off, and the talent on the card as well. I mean, you've even got like Undertaker, Triple H fighting into the crowd, and the TLC matches and all that kind of stuff, and I just think it was the perfect show.
So the ending doesn't ruin it for you at all?
It's if I can take everything up to before the ending,
Yeah.
the match was great. I think even Austin himself said in hindsight he wouldn't have turned heel. He thinks it's the wrong thing to do, but that's not a takeaway from the match for me. I think it was still a great match up until that point, and there's a great pay-per-view up to then as well. So,
To be honest, you've got to applaud the bravery of them to turn Austin. They should have done it with Cena, and they were too scared of doing it. Austin, that was the height of his powers. It's almost the same as The Rock, really. When The Rock started getting popular in '98 and they turned him at the Survivor Series, that was brave. For them to turn Austin as well was pretty brave, so it's probably the right call.
but when they turned The Rock in '98, that was just genius.
Yeah, it's probably the best one I've seen, the best heel turn I've seen.
It was so good, and then obviously that's kind of launched The Rock into what he became.
I just think maybe Houston wasn't the place for an Austin heel turn.
No, he was always going to get cheered whatever happened there, wasn't he? So,
Yeah. So what about you, Kev? What's your favourite pay-per-view you've seen?
St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Honestly, that is my favourite ever pay-per-view.
Was that the Austin McMahon cage match?
Yeah.
That was the big show,
Al
wasn't it?
Snow, Bob Holly fighting in the Mississippi River.
I do remember that, yeah. That's an odd memory you've got. That's one I've completely forgotten all about. The thing I remember of that show was the big show. I think he turned up and threw Austin through the cage.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was meant to break or not. I assume it was, but I'm not sure you remember that when the side of the cage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to, because obviously he won, didn't he? Yeah.
That's a surprising choice, Kev. I wouldn't have guessed that. Always nice to be unpredictable.
I'm full of surprises.
Yeah. What about you, Rach? What's your favourite?
I'm definitely with Chris on that one. That was definitely one of my favourite WrestleManias for sure. I don't know. I quite liked Armageddon 2000. The Hell in a Cell match, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, Triple H. I love that match. I was all over that.
Were you actually there?
No,
that
I
with the
was
six
not there.
Was that with the sixer in the cell, Rach?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Was that the Rikishi fall off the thing into the truck of
Big
hay?
pile of hay. That was on Channel 4. That was free in the UK.
It was, yeah. No, I love that.
That's an odd choice as well. I can't remember anything else about that event except that one match.
Yeah, but that was just the match for me. Can't lie. But there's a few that I like, but definitely WrestleMania 17's up there.
As well.
Yeah. What about you,
Pay-per-view.
Adam? What was your favourite?
Well, I'm not going to join the bandwagon with 17, even though it was one of my favourites, but Survivor Series 97,
For obvious reasons.
for obvious reasons. It was just, I don't know, it was great. I think every match was pretty decent, actually. There wasn't really a bad match on it. Plus, then we had the Montreal Screw job at the end, so...
The main event, looking back now, is a weird main event, but that match felt like the most real match going.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It felt like those two guys actually hated each other. And that,
I always think a Canadian crowd or a Toronto crowd can make something as well. They were rabid.
it's either them or Chicago. Or to be fair, the UK is up there, to be honest with you, but it's probably Chicago and Canada, isn't it, as the main two?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Where was Money in the Bank in 2011? Was that Chicago?
Chicago, but that's got a lot to do with Punk as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the crowds obviously want to see a hometown hero win, and obviously it would have been the same in Survivor Series 97.
See, so I think all these pay-per-views that you've mentioned, especially Mania 17, had a pretty clearly defined main event. You knew it was going to be Austin and The Rock for months and months. You could look forward to it. You could sort of go on the journey with them and all that stuff. This year, have we any idea what the main event's going to be?
None. I can't call it right now.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that unpredictable, or is that,
As much as I'm not looking forward to this being the main event, the match that goes on last, it's going to be Lesnar and Goldberg. That'll be the last
do you
match.
think they'd really put a 5-minute match last?
No way. I can't see that.
And it's going to end up like, what was the last Mania those two had a match in? The crowd just...
WrestleMania 20.
Was it funny. I can see, the reaction. I don't know. The reaction could be similar.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and when they get Austin as special guest referee as well.
just so the crowd have got someone to cheer for.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's any way they can put that on last.
I think it's what they're building towards. I mean, I'd be quite happy for Bray Wyatt versus whoever he actually goes up against to be last.
Do you think
But,
if they
yeah.
put Lesnar Goldberg last, do you think people would leave?
I don't know. I think it'd be disrespectful to leave, but I wouldn't personally want that as the main event. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be happy about that.
I paid all this money to go across and see it. I'm not going to leave.
Well, yeah,
No,
exactly.
I don't think people would stay, but I think, if it was a Raw, people would leave.
Well, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen it
You know-
before.
I'm actually looking forward to Raw after Mania, because more than any other event, even Mania.
Do you think
The crowd is pretty special, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody's debuting, or do you think it's going to be Nakamura?
Oh, there's always going to be
on
a debut.
SmackDown?
I think there'll be people that debut. I mean, I'm kind of holding out for a wee Nakamura debut on SmackDown.
Yeah. Which is why SmackDown cannot be missed, I think. After Mania, I think SmackDown could end up being as big a show as Raw.
And I still don't have a ticket for it.
Well, while you is all enjoying it, I'll be on the plane home.
Oh, so is it just me and Chris at SmackDown, is it?
Rich, you've got SmackDown as well, Rich, are you not?
Oh, I haven't got tickets yet. I'm still thinking that was like the one day that I was probably not going to do something WWE related, but I don't know.
I think Nakamura's debuting. I think they're going to do something big.
I think he's got to be on SmackDown when he debuts. I mean, something that we've not mentioned so far is Samoa Joe. I thought obviously with Samoa Joe going to Raw that they're going to debut Nakamura. When he does debut, it will be on SmackDown. But I'd just like to see Nakamura versus AJ Styles in WWE. I know they've had a lot of matches in Japan together, and so I'd like to see what they could do in WWE TV as well.
Right then, should we? In closing then of this podcast, we could send everybody to Kev's website, which is wrestlingfanuk.co.uk, and we could leave everybody with a nice little trivia questions. So we've been talking about ICW for the last probably half an hour now, so we could ask people when ICW was founded, and people can tweet their answer at TSO_podcast. We'll
Try not to Google it.
No, we should have picked a question that can't be Googled, really. But if obviously people can tweet in questions as well. We can have questions for next week. And anything people want us to talk about, they can tweet that as well. Adam will pick a winner out of a hat, and they will get a special prize, which we haven't decided on yet. But that should be enough motivation for you to tweet in your answers.
So far, I'm thinking An Evening with Rachel.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
That's just what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So, but where's this question? Where do you answer?
Adam will do anything to get the number of followers over 30. So
I said Rachel, not Chris.
I think that's probably a good place to leave it. Isn't it? It's probably quite a nice ending there. So we should say bye to everybody there, Adam.
I officially quit the group.
Goodbye, all.
Well, thank you for listening, all, and we will see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.